Cactuar representing the Final Fantasy out there.
Yeah, definitely. The Cactuar sprite's pretty awesome. I think it's got one of the best ran animations out of all the sprites out there, especially when you've got the regular walking animation. But it looks like we're going to be off right now, and we'll shortly see. We actually the privacy policy we're done with that now. We're actually just racing to the castle.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a race you'll never win, but we have 3 crystals in our map check less than 25 seconds into this race, and none of them are 5-6. But that race, Uncle will always win that race, kind of like that one Happy Mask salesman in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you want to see off of the Uncle? I'm down always to see the canes.
I'm always a fan of hammer starts. We will get some kind of weapon here because we have some enemies we have to kill in the escape, and today it's going to be a fire rod.
Ooh, that's actually nice. I'm a big fan of the fire rod. The only issue with it is that you do have to preserve your magic a little bit until you get bombs. Oh, well, okay, never mind. Screw that. Fine. Whatever, game. We're only like a minute in, but you can already, have me shove it. It's fine.
We'll have our own escape with fire rods and bomb drops.
But yeah, that's going to be really nice. So I doubt that they're going to probably farm any more bombs. If they do get one along the way, it'll probably be nice. But they're probably just going to kill the required stuff and hold on to the rest of their magic, maybe for a mini Moldrum Cave or some other part of they get Dark World access.
That would definitely be a very wise choice. Getting 2 shots there for Patty, that was pretty nice. We can also throw pots as well. Those are very good weapons. So for our required kills, we're pretty much only preserving our magic for that. We got a blue guard here. We'll have a green and blue guard as well on our way to Zelda Cell. We'll have a ball and chain guard. And then from there, it's just the key rat. So a full magic meter is 8 fire rod shots. They have to be careful to pick up any magic along the way if they run low.
Yep, and so I think Patty did a little bit better job in those first 2 rooms to open up a tiny bit of a lead. It looks like Troupster is still maybe trying to farm some extra bombs. I mean, 3 is pretty much the required that you need to get through the first 2 places in Kakariko and also the back of Escape. But, getting additional bombs, an extra 4-drop or something means you probably don't have to buy bombs while you're in Kakariko, and that saves a tiny bit of time and money.
And money is actually a very relevant thing here in this race, possibly. If they don't find very much of it, if this ends up being a poverty seed, it can actually be very difficult to buy more bombs.
Definitely. It's actually the way that it's kind of thrown out junk items is pretty 50-50. Sometimes you'll get like all 300 drops by the time you're done with Kakariko, and sometimes you'll get measly a couple big 20s and that's it, and then you're kind of like going back into Blind's Hut to get an additional 30 rupees, which feels really slow.
Yeah, it's certainly better than having to do so for Zora, which I actually did commentate yesterday. It was kind of crazy that that can happen. The logic doesn't account for where you get your rupees because they are early and they're accessible even in Sphere 1. Interesting thing, though, Patty here is relatively low on magic. I think he's going to be banking on picking up some small magic decanters in the escape.
Yeah, there is one that's under a pot in the second room, the second water room of the sewer. So it's probably a little bit safe, and then you'll get 2 shots easily from that. But yeah, you want to be a little bit careful. Between Fire Rod and Cane of Burna, those are the 2 that you really, really have to be careful with. Because Cane of Samaria doesn't really use all that much magic, to be honest. So using that is pretty easy, but Fire Rod and Cane of Burna burn a lot of magic.
With that, though, we have picked up the princess, and we're on our way back to the mantle here. We're making pretty good time, actually. For all things considered, this is a pretty quick escape. Generally, getting back here around 4 minutes and 30 seconds is pretty decent when you're pushing that statue, and it looks like both of our runners should be well ahead of that. They could potentially get out of the escape somewhere between 6 minutes and 6 minutes 30, which is not bad at all if you don't have a sword.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I wanted to note, since we didn't do it at the time, the map was in Zelda Cell, so we know that there are all 3 items in the back of Escape, so it's even more value back there. And we'll have to see if we get some sort of early progression from that, because so far, other than the Fire Rod for the weapon, we haven't really gotten any progression.
Yep, and we will definitely open the chest in the sanctuary as well, because that could also have the map normally. Since we've already found it, we know something's there.
I always like the confirmation of seeing the map in the sanctuary chest just to make sure I didn't do a dumb and miscount. Because that feels really bad if something was there and you never check it.
Worse yet, you can even save and quit several times to get there, but if you miss it...
Alright,
Patty having no problems.
Yeah, Patty having no problems. Did save it up. Just, I think had a moment of, wait a second, let me make sure I did actually shoot the right rat. And good job on Troup's side as well, getting it on first try. So Troup is going to have a little extra magic. And we'll have to see if that helps out a little bit at some point during the early part. We get a sword, though, 20 rupees, and another 20 rupees. So the sword is our kind of first progression in a sense.
You know, that first big 20 was pretty exciting, but the second one, I just couldn't handle that one.
It was too hypey for you?
It was just really hype. I just saw the big 20, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be great. And then I was like, oh, this is even better, actually.
Hey, they can actually afford bombs now in Kakariko.
Hey, there's only 20 of those in the game, so, you know, you just got to get hyped for each and every one of them. If you accelerate your hypeness each time, eventually that big 20 really will be a big 20.
Oh man, we got 50 rupees in the sank chest. We are just rolling in money now. We doubled our money.
Well, that escalated quickly. The whole blackjack and another casino thing kind of paying off here. We're at the money we need in order to get the bottle vendor. So everything going through Kakariko here has a chance to be a little bit better. We would like to see a bottle, though. That would give us an extra item and sick kit.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll have to see. Oh, we got a little bit of a divergence right here. So Patty's actually going to come up here and do a tree pull and check Lumberjack Cave. Just hearts on the tree pull. But Troupster is going all the way straight back. Is going to skip Lumberjack Cave right now. So we'll see if this information is at all useful here in a second.
And of course, Troup also finding the tree pull there. I didn't get to see what Lumberjack was, but it kind of looked like a green rupee.
Yeah, that looked like the bottom side of the single rupee. So, I mean, unless you're wanting for some massive memes, there's no reason to go there.
Well, that heart piece is definitely something we'll pick up. We only have 3 hearts to work with, and the Hoarder didn't really give us much of anything, the crab guy. When you pick up that bush, he'll drop things repeatedly. So we're finding a little bit of love here in the forest, but not exactly progression like we're looking for.
Oh, okay. Well, geez, man. And then the tier 1 tree pull was only a single rupee set. That is not good. I'll leave it at not good.
I mean, it is vanilla.
It's true. It is indeed vanilla. And
for those of you
like
out
some
there,
vanilla ice cream.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm personally a fan of French vanilla, so if we find any like hammers in the first chest of Palace of Darkness, or you know, like a hook shot in the first chest of Swamp Palace, I'd be pretty happy about those.
That's totally fair. All right, we're getting a blinds head check from Troup right here. We got a hook shot and a master sword already. Oh, 300 rupes. And oh my god, what are those, dude?
You get a progression, you get a progression, you get a progression. This is Oprah's hut.
And more bonk. Dude, Blind's hut. Dude, Blind is the bro in the light world, apparently. In the dark world, he sucks because we have to kill him. But otherwise, yeah.
He thought he could hide all of his treasures in another dimension. Little did he know the hero of Hyrule was going to ruin his day before he even, like, you know, stood to face him. We haven't seen what Thieves Town is as far as crystal or pendant, but I feel like at this point, I would just go in there just to smack him around for extra insult.
Yeah, dude. Even if it's like, you know, red pendant or something where it's totally not useful unless it's a pet seed. We do get the single arrow in the back of Blind's head. In addition to some more bombs, we get a power glove, a moon pearl. Oh, can we get all? Oh, I was so hoping for the hammer right there for the Dark World well.
Oh my god.
Oh, and Patty actually going back and routing in Bonk Rocks. Let's see what Bonk Rocks is right here. Just 10 arrows, but not a bad play by Patty right there.
Yeah, it's an interesting gamble. He knows he's going to have to go back through, but the boots don't cost him much time to be checking with, you know, it's only going to be 10-15 seconds for him to leave and then 10-15 seconds to come back.
All right, I'm calling this right now. Oh, we got Blue Mail and Chicken Coop as well. I'm trying to say things, but we still keep getting items that are useful. I'm I'm going to call it now that since we're only either a lantern or a hammer away from one or the other, I'm going to say it's not going to give us hammer because it's given us literally everything else that we needed. Oh,
Even
God, and there's a mushroom.
Well, so that actually, if we only had Canis Samario, we could almost already do a magic bat check. We would just need that hammer. But I mean, for that to be even considerable at this point, we have boots, so let's see what the library is going to be today.
Oh, just a piece of heart.
Yeah, and the bottle vendor too. So we're definitely finding love in strange places, but we're going to dive deep into this race game. We have the boots. Why not?
Yeah, I definitely, since you got those extra bomb drops, you can totally have enough bombs to kind of bank on this. And since you got Master Sword, Mini Moldrum Cave is a piece of cake. 10 bomb drop, though, that's actually pretty nice. I don't know if I don't think they've gotten a 5+ bomb drop. Oh, apparently he just wants to say it's really trash, but because he talked to him again. But all right, let's see where Troupster now with all of this info from these progression items goes. I guess it's going to go to Sanctuary. And gets some
nice
speed.
dash.
Yeah, that was nice.
Just to kind of explain that, there's two different ways you can activate that super speed glitch. You can either do it with a sword spin and hitting A the very next frame, or you can do an item dash with most items. That will trick the game into being confused about your running state. And if you walk cardinally north or south off of a manual staircase, like you see in the room Troupster's in now, you'll actually get this super speed where you're running at the same speed, but with a walk animation, so you don't have to charge up a dash.
Yeah, and so Troop is actually gonna possibly, is gonna head up to Lumberjack Cave and might actually sequence break up to Death Mountain right now. Usually when you haven't done this check and you get Power Gloves, this is a good way to route this in, since there's no other really good time to come up here.
We do get confirmation on the single rupee, so these boots probably not paying off in that particular way, but Death Mountain seems to be the play for both of these runners.
Wow, that's actually really interesting, considering you've got all of South Shore, and with boots, Agina's Cave is a much easier check. But they're just opting to sequence break right away. I think it's probably that hook shot, because now you could get to all of East Death Mountain and check that.
Well, folks, if you just tuned in, you may be a little confused about where we are right now. We're looking at a room without much light in it. It's the Old Man Death Mountain Ascent. We are coming from the ground floor in order to bring him up here, so this is actually a little more challenging. But if you are trying to run this game and you can't do dark rooms yet, you can have a map open during a race. That's okay.
All right, we just got a little bit of love from the old man. He's thanking us for taking him back, and we're going to see some more spin speed right here from Troop's side. I'm sure we'll see it from Patty's side. And nice job with the holding out of the sword. Oh, that's a bow.
Wow, information right away.
Oh man, now oh god, that could be really awful, because now that they're really close to Dark World access, that mirror it's possible that mirror will come really late, and they won't have access to that at all until they get the mirror.
So the saving throw for Patty there would be if he finds Hammer here on the mountain. If he finds Hammer in one of these 8 locations, he would be able to go and get that bow, or at least be able to check that for that bow immediately.
All right, let's see what the bottom part of Paradox Cave has. Well, it has a heart container and some more rupees, so bringing them a little bit closer to that Zora money, or everything that they need in the Dark World if they get that hammer pretty soon here.
Is it the bottom of the cave or the top of the cave?
So like Schrodinger's, theory? Do we know which side of the cave is dead or alive?
I mean, as far as I remember, I think that... Oh, wow, there's the mirror. Oh, gross. It's ruined immediately by the red meringue.
Seed, we were just trying to have some fun here. Like, have them move around for this stuff, but man, you're giving it to them way too easily.
What I was trying to say, though, is I think this bomb jump, is this a vertical bomb jump instead of a horizontal bomb jump?
I mean, it depends on what perspective you're doing. Either way, doesn't matter which way you're looking at it, Troop actually does the bomb jump fine. So it does save a little bit of time over Patty right there, because Patty didn't decide to go for it.
And the book!
What is the seed, dude? And that is... Well, it's locked behind a couple items. Oh, we got a quick map check. I think it was a pendant at Hera and 2 crystals at Eastern Palace and Desert Palace, if I saw that correctly.
Oh, we actually got it right at the first 20, 30 seconds. They're all crystals, none of them 5/6.
Well, I definitely was paying attention. Oh god, there's Civil Arrows in Spiral Cave. So that's nice right about when you're going to get a bow, I would say.
What? What? I mean, you said it best. What is this seed?
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, we don't know what's required yet because although having 3 pendants in the Dark World is kind of a big deal, but we won't know that until here in a second. I'm hoping Troop will actually check that when he goes up for this bow.
Patty almost made a huge misplay, almost missing his bow here. He hasn't gone up there to check it, so really fortunate for him that he remembered he didn't check the left side here.
Yeah, that would have been really, really awful. And that's going to give us Hera completion. So we're going to get our first crystal here very shortly, like possibly within the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, a fun thing to remember, folks. We haven't found flute or lamp in the South Shore or anything like that to get us up here. So this is all sequence break.
All right, so just a compass in that main chest. So Troupster is going to head up. We haven't gotten the small key yet, so we don't know if the basement is going to be required.
Looks like Patty narrowly avoiding getting dead rock there.
Troop doing a nice setup on the first one, but getting trolled a little bit by those sword beams right there. And is going to be heading up Tower of Hera. And with boots, you don't have to do the bomb jump. You can actually hook shot across and bonk off of the big chest, and that's a lot faster than doing any other strat.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunately equipped for this dungeon. In this particular scenario, it's just going to opt to hit the switch first on the way over, but having these 2 particular items, that can save you quite a lot of time. Normally, you have to go upstairs and fall through a hole.
Just a 5 rupee in the big chest, so we will find shortly if the map is going to be on Moldorm, or we're going to have to go down to the we're going to have to go down to the basement, or the other item is going to be on Moldorm.
Yep, 50-50 chance, and we're going to find out pretty quickly from that. Well, the Moldy Worm plus a Master Sword, 3 spins, and we're done here.
Ooh, Troupster's got to be a bit careful. Ooh, gets a poke, so might try and poke again, or slash. Yeah, okay, very nice job. So now it just needs to spin. That's really heads-up play by Troupster right there, and that is Moldorm killed.
Well, Patty's hot on his heels here, doing a nice bumper skip. We're finding a burrito, barbacoa style, here at the top of the Hera.
Man, you are a man of culture. Barbacoa is delicious.
Well, it's got to make up for the moldy worm that's holding it.
Oh, and Patty falls through the center hole, so it's going to have to go down 2 floors. That is a huge time sink right now when both of these runners have converged at the same area.
Well, we're definitely looking neck and neck still, despite that. I mean, this is potentially anybody's, early start to this race, or nobody's, checked anything the other hasn't. They've both pretty much gone to the same places, so right now this is a significant advantage for Troupster, but remains to be seen if we're going to have anything crazy that separates these runners further.
All right, Patty gets the same thing right here. Oh, and actually was trying for the poke. And okay, does actually get a good pattern right there. So Moldorm is down on Patty's side. Both of them sub 19 minutes. And that's pretty crazy. And that, like, all this stuff, just that mirror placement was so convenient to get this early crystal.
Yeah, this kind of timer on your clock, this is the sort of thing you'd want to see if you were trying to do this in an NG run. You'd be like, whoa, holy cow.
Yeah.
It looked like Troupster got his coffee break there, though.
Yeah, that was nice. Oh, but oh god, getting a little bit trolled by the lantern right there. But thankfully there's a full magic drop. Oh, that's powder right there. And when we get Dark World access, it's actually achievable to check magic bad because we have the mirror. You don't need the hammer to actually check that.
I've actually found hammer there. That was pretty rough.
Okay.
But we have Patty's basement here. He's going to find that powder as well. Troupster's not going to do anything with that powder for now. We not really anywhere else he can go, but he has everything he needs to finish Eastern Palace, presuming that he has no issues with his dark rooms, which I can't imagine at 4 and 2 he would.
All right, let's see what Sarsaparilla has hiding in his closet right here. If it's like lamp and hammer, I'm just gonna lose it.
Well, Sriracha Sauce's stuff, not much here.
Okay, all right. The seed decided to have a little bit of chill.
Well, I mean, we haven't found the ice rod yet, so are you sure about that?
You know, that's a good point, Yudai. Because really, we didn't get a map check, I don't think, from either of the runners when they mirrored over to go to Hera. So we still don't know what are the required crystals in the Dark World. But yeah, if Turtle Rock is one of those crystals, that ice rod is going to still be at large.
Just want to point out, though, Troupster showing us sword climbs on every one of those staircases. If you thought the spin speed and the hook dashing thing was nice, you can do that with your sword outstretched, and it goes even quicker on staircases. There's our lamp, though. Never a better timing for it.
Yeah, that actually puts the rest of Eastern Palace technically in logic. So it actually wanted you to come in here. This was actually a required double dip by the logic. But obviously these runners, they can easily do the old man dark room and makes it all a single dip.
And of course with this hook shot, this is a little quicker, which is always nice. Big key is always good to have early on as well. But Patty is going to pick up his half magic from the dam.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice thing to get, considering Fire Rod early. That makes Skullwoods a much more relevant and easier thing to complete. Because unless they get Tempered Sword, Mothula can be kind of a jerk, especially without half magic. So getting that half magic makes up for that.
I like the gumption here from Patty, though. He's going to throw bombs and use his very last one to take out these many Moldorms.
That's a bold strategy, Con, but it did work out for him. And we've got a big 20, we got a Harkitator, another big 20, and a 10 air capacity upgrade, and red mail in Mini Molder.
It looks like big chest here in Eastern is Ether as well, so that is one of our 3 potential medallion requirements. It's looking like it's very likely that either Misery Mire or Eternal Rock is at least one of these pendants, but it's still possible that it isn't. Interestingly enough, Patty did not have a bomb to go check Ice Rod Cave, so he's actually forced to save and quit. Although he could have actually had a 50-50 chance of getting one from one of the bombs, or one of the rocks just outside of that cave, though that's kind of crummy to try and rely on that.
Yeah, that is pretty unfortunate, because generally, especially with boots, I think every runner would be totally fine with routing an Ice Rod Cave when you have boots. But when you don't have it, then it just feels kind of slow. But my big question is, when will these runners actually go check Mushroom? Because now that they've gotten all this stuff, unless they still haven't found the hammer, it's going to be kind of hard to route that in there, especially if Flute is late.
Yeah, and we have everything we need for Zora as well. We could potentially even set up a fake flipper in some exotic ways from over there, or if we really had to, just go up there again. But I mean, there's a couple items we can get from there, and if we use that to our advantage, we could get as many as 4 or 5.
All right, and we saw there was a compass in the Vanilla Bikini location, so if you were going to do a 50-50 to the Armos Knights, it would have actually worked in this case. But I think in general, most runners would actually go for that. And man, Troops is just making quick work of Easter. This has been a really impressive dungeon by him.
Yep, this is oftentimes for a lot of folks, particularly if you run the NMG route. I think both of these have. But if you do, this is probably your most practiced dungeon since, if you reset.
I have not run NMG yet, so I do not know that pain quite yet. Maybe I'll know it at some point, but just a big 20 on Armos Knights. And that's our second crystal at under 25 minutes on Troop side.
Yeah, this is already turning out to be extremely fast seed. I mean, we're doing all the light world right now. We don't have a book yet because we know that's behind a mirror in the Dark Death Mountain. Floating Island is specifically where it's at. And we don't have any access to that portal just yet.
Oh wow, is Troop gonna route in Mushroom right now? This would be a heck of a routing choice right here early. Yeah, he is. He's going north. Wow, this is a bold call from Troop. But with boots, it does make it a lot faster. So I don't blame him for just trying to be comprehensive and route this in right now.
Yeah, a lot of these early sphere items really good to check before you end up trying to make any like larger plays. And he's running pretty low on places he can go at the moment. We still don't really have a good Dark World access yet.
Well, he hasn't been to South Shore. That's why I'm really surprised about that.
Yeah, so I gotta think he's saving and quitting after his Zora check up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Well, drugs for bomb bags.
Actually, just is not going to go to Zora. That's a really interesting call, especially when you have like almost 900 rupees and you're already up there. You might as well just route in Zora, but probably just wants to leave that off until it's the last thing. And so Troop is going to head down to the dam, and let's see if he also heads over to Midi Moldrum Cave and possibly Ice Rod Cave.
I'm kind of surprised to hear from chat that Troupster doesn't run NMG. He shows a lot of execution that looks like an NMG runner's, kind of like vanilla or instincts, you know, doing the water dash, for example, getting to here to the dam, and some other small things. So perhaps he's watched, you know, NMG runners. I know Patty has plenty of experience with both the speed run and randomizer. So, I mean, no doubts about his, you know, experience there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way with me. I've actually, you know, never run NMG, and this is the like first major tournament. I was in the Kisane tournament as well, but I learned so much by just watching runners who have been around for so long, and you kind of can help develop execution strats that are kind of your own from it. So it's definitely very helpful, and you can learn a lot from it with just practice and whatnot.
Troupster there throwing a bomb in the very farthest possible reach to open up that cave. I was pretty impressed by that. And it looks like Patty's making quick work of Eastern Palace as well, so he should have his second crystal just outside of 27 minutes.
All right, let's see if Troupster does decide to go to Ice Rod Cave, gets his red mail, and dude, becoming a gold ball and chain guard is probably just like such a satisfying feeling. You just like look like such a boss.
Yeah, he's going to get that. I mean, even if we have an Aghanim requirement, which is actually still somewhat possible at this point, even if we did, he would be showing up in style and outclassing his similarly paladed friends. Very well equipped if we have to do that. Even with just Master Sword, we have quite a few weapons available to us and safeties.
Ooh, Patty was actually thinking of doing the same thing that Troop did, but opted not to do that. It's just going to save and quit. Oh, that's a Cane of Samaria from Troop's side. Oh, and Troop's going to set up a water dash right here.
Yeah, Water Walk is a really nice glitch. This allows us to really take advantage of these boots that we have. He's going to basically do a dash over or alongside a pit and exit the room. As long as he drops down here vertically, he'll be able to walk because of the equipment that he has.
Yeah, and as long as you don't walk on land, I think that I always forget, because I know with the normal fake flipper you can't be on land. Does that work the same with water walking?
Well, water walking's a very different glitch. Fake flippers, we're just using a screen transition to trick the game into thinking we have flippers, but water walking actually has to set a bunch of different states. So that I'm not as familiar with, but we're going to get paid off immediately for this with a flute.
My brain is just boggled. Also, is Patty's doing Aghanim before doing Agina's Cave? That is... Huh. That's a really big gamble.
There could be a couple things in his mind. He might think the hammer's probably not going to be at Agina's Cave. And if it isn't, you know, that's pretty sensible in his to be doing. And the flute doesn't really give as much yet. So, I mean, Troupster, his fake flipper, you know, it pays off. It's just not as important as it could be for once we have those Titan's Mitts. So it's either Titan's Mitts or hammer if he's making the wrong play here. I think Patty's just hedging his bets, hoping that, you know, his opponent would have taken the time to check those and come up with nothing.
Yeah, that's very true. Although I will say right now, deciding to fake flipper is turning out really well for Troop, and you know, once Patty finishes with Aghanim, can go to like, can do everything except for Harmlessor King and Pod, can route to Catfish, and has Hookshot to go across the Village of Outcasts. So actually has a lot of stuff, and probably won't want a fake flipper after this.
Very true. So where we find those flippers could be very relevant for how Patty makes his decisions going forward. He's having a little trouble with the Circle of Pots room, but we have an Nagina's Cave check, and this cowboy is going to give us something. He's looking at us real funny with his hat, though.
All right, just a big 20. So it looks like, I'm trying to think if there's anything we haven't checked yet, and I think that's means that Aghanim is required.
And so Patty's gambit looks to have paid off here. Oh, we still have Zora, so Troupster may end up going there.
It's gonna probably fake flipper for that. Okay, so this is a really smart play from Troop right here.
Yeah, I mean, you already got flute from doing this. You know, flippers appear to be a part of the logic progression here that matters besides just the dungeons. So, I mean, it makes sense to kind of double dip on this.
Yeah, and with that pearl, we can actually check the Waterfall of Wishing. We'll see how many blue balls Patty gets on this side. I think so far, so good on Fritz.
And it's not even Sankart, but I think that's the first blue ball I've seen for Patty.
I believe so, yes. Got so half and half right there on the first one. And dancing with his boomerang in the back.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I haven't seen that before.
All right, is Zor gonna have our hammer? And survey says today, no.
It's beginning to look a lot like Aghanim. And I think Troupster has the same idea in his mind. He is picking up full health, making sure that he is prepped and ready to head up the tower.
Yep. Again, with Fire Rod, you can make quick work, and half magic too. You can make quick work of pretty much everything required to kill in this tower. So, and then with Pearl already, you can get a full refill of hearts and magic at the end. But Patty needs one more hit, and there it is. And we're gonna have some Dark World access.
Yep, so this isn't the first time we've poked our head into the Dark World. However, it will be the first time for us to look at the map. We didn't bother when we got that Moon Pearl, or when we were going towards Tower of Hera before. First things first, though, Patty wants to see what this item is on the side, and it is the Tilde.
All right, we got some bacon coin on our side. So that's 2 of the 3 medallions, which means we got a very good chance of having access to both Mire and Turtle Rock at this point. It's very possible we'll never see Bombos, considering that we've had Fire Rod since the start, and we've already got the other 2 medallions. But it looks like Patty is just going to go straight in the pod, and I don't blame it. With the lamp, it's possible that all 5 items will be in the logic right here.
He has everything he needs, and he's also best equipped to do this as quickly as possible. The only thing that can make it any faster, I suppose, being maybe some sword upgrades, but you know, he's in the best shape he can be to get this done.
Yep, we've got everybody's favorite extortionist monkey, Kiki, right here, is going to allow us access into pod.
Yeah, he did a nice little turnaround there to have Kiki catch up to him a little bit. If he does it during the cutscene and has to walk further, Kiki will actually take significantly longer to get up there.
Yeah, you know, those small things, those small optimizations really do make a difference over the course of a, you know, like an hour and a half to 2 hour run. So it's very good when you can kind of implement those as often as possible. But let's see if... Okay, interesting. So has to go to the Bowlock side. Does not have a small key to start. But that big key early is nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was going to find anything that would Bowlock me in this dungeon, I'd be pretty happy about that. Well, Troupster's busy annihilating his brethren in arms here in the castle tower, taking down everything that wears armor. Doing so mostly with the silver arrows, pretty powerful weapon. Meanwhile, Patty here has some mimics to take care of, and will make his way to the 2 chests back here, and will have to mirror out unless he finds the hammer in one of them.
I have a question. Do you know like what the penalty is for treason in Hyrule?
Well, I know that they definitely put signs up around town showing your face poorly drawn. That's definitely one thing. I think they send your princess to another crystal as well.
Oh, that's a great Super Mario reference. Thank you for that one.
Unfortunately, though, that didn't yield a hammer for Patty. I couldn't bless him with that one.
All right. Well, we did get a key, though. We did get, two keys, so we can actually continue forward. Patty is going to opt to check the bridge first, and is probably going to route back around. So it's a small key. Let's see if he opts to... can't decide. Back, front. All right, he's going to go to the back first, and is going to leave off those other two chests for the end after you mirror from the big chest.
Well, are we going to get a hammer yump today? I think we're getting a hammer yump.
Oh, baby, we're getting a hammer yump. Now, you don't see this... it's not really as necessary with Mire, and it's not the key sanity one. There's the first part of it.
Oh, no, it took too long to set up. He had the pixels and everything. He was using his sword to line it up on the bomb. So he actually does the setup that I use. You do a pause buffer, and you line up your sword in between two tiles on the floor. And then, of course, cover a certain amount of the bomb's wick. Really hard to do, though, if you haven't done it in a while, and no reason in Randomizer to practice it very much.
I'm a little confused as to why, after failing it, Patty is still going left. It's actually faster to go right, and you have Mirror, because after the big chest, you can just mirror from there. But we got both dungeon items in the Dark Maze, and let's see what the big chest has. So we know Helmasaur King definitely has an item, and that will be locked behind the hammer.
I think this has to be a small key. No, it isn't. Oh, he has the ones in the main room to get still, doesn't he?
Yeah, actually, small keys will never be in the Dark Maze because you can actually lock yourself. So keys always have to be in the front. 4 keys minimum have to be in the front, and 2 will be on the Hellway side and the basement.
Well, here's our map check. 5, 6 is Misery Mire and Palace of Darkness. I saw a swamp pendant. I didn't see the rest of it. Thieves Town and then something else.
Ice Palace, Thieves Town, and Swamp are our pendants, and I believe green is Swamp. So, so the Ice Rod is required in this seed. So that is very much at large, and that could be literally everywhere except for Trinex at this point.
Well, if you're a fan of pirates and sriracha sauce blocking progression, then, you know, there's a chance here that Argus is our culprit.
It's very possible he has some good booty to give you at the very end of his cavern. Pirate jokes, am I right?
Absolutely. We're sailing the high seas on this one, but it'll be a little while before we end up into Swamp Palace. That'll hopefully be a last resort for our runners, because go moding, if we had to do it, you know, there's no way we can do that if it's going to be an item in there or the pendant blocking an item. We haven't seen a pedestal, though. There's still a chance that 1 or 2 items here could potentially have it. Ice Rod is a possibility as well.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, Thieves Town is pretty straightforward dungeon in general. Okay, so there's a small key for small key right there, which means that this is going to have an item. Oh, it's a French vanilla hammer, boys and girls.
Well, so we don't have anything to dress that French vanilla with. Patty showing some frustration. I definitely can relate to it. Maybe that's excitement. I mean, I would be absolutely stoked about finding that here and having spent the time to get it. Now, this represents a potentially huge advantage for him. Troupster's likely to check, I mean, most runners are likely to check all sorts of other places, like Graveyard Ledge, for example, hoping to do all of Palace of Darkness in one fell swoop.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised Troop didn't go in there. When you have the bow and the lantern that puts almost everything in the logic, that's a pretty big skip. When you don't have the lantern, it's not as, applicable in every situation, but it really paid off for Patty in this situation. So we've got the hammer from Patty, and then we got the flute from Troop's side. So each of our runners has a little bit of an advantage over the other.
I gotta point it out, though, I really love that Patty used the Cactuar sprite here. I mean, its run animation is so good.
Oh, totally. It like I said, it's very, very solid sprite. Oh, we get our first bottle in King's Tomb. So That's very interesting. Our first bottle being in the Dark World. So Troup's probably gonna route that in as he goes to the Village of Outcasts in Skullwoods area.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick find, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Gotta love that sick logic. However, Troupster is done with his North Dark World checks. I don't know if he checked the Bumper Cave yet, though.
No, has not. Routed up from Catfish and hook shot across. So this will be our first Bumper Cave check. Let's see if that'll be in the logic. And no, it is just a big 20. And let's see, is Troupster gonna head up to Skull first? Yes, is gonna probably go get that third crystal of the seed. Let's see if he routes from the back. Okay, he's gonna route from the front. Very interesting choice. I've actually found that routing from the back when you have the fire rod already to go forward is pretty nice because you're pretty much guaranteed to get a small key somewhere. Oh, interesting. So where's he going to go now? Oh, is he going to go to the back now? That's a really interesting route. I kind of like that.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around where the flippers are in all this.
So we know they can't be in Mire because they're locked behind the flute. We got our fire shield on, fighter shield. Oh, there's the cape, but we know it's not needed. But I'd say it's probably gonna be
Zora?
in. We already saw Zora.
Oh, you're right.
It can't. It was just 10 arrows at Zora, but it's probably most likely going to be. I can't be in Swamp, and it can't be in Ice Palace, so it's probably going to be in Village of Outcasts. To be honest, we're probably going to run across it here.
Relatively soon, at least. Could be the flips or the water toes behind the moth. This is all speculation, though. We're just trying to figure our way out around all this crazy logic, because we've been sequence breaking from the word go pretty early on with the Death Mountain Ascent in the dark. And we found that lamp, I believe, in Palace of Darkness. Was that right?
The lamp was in Eastern.
Yes, in Eastern, the first chest in Eastern. So that was available to us. So yeah, that didn't really do that much. We could have gone to Eastern. That would have been the expected progression with the double dip and then to the mountain.
Yeah, very much so. So flippers are could be only locked by a few things. Unless we get Tines Mitts, then it could be in the overworld somewhere in a lot more spots. But let's focus on Troup's Moth to the Fire right here, and let's see if he gets some good RNG. So far, I think it's gotten quite a few hits right now. I think it only needs a couple more.
Yeah, this is a good fight so far.
Yeah, very nice fight from Troup.
And we got confirmation from Patty's side that Hype Cave was really just Cave of Red. Lots of big 20s, a little bit of health, not much of anything there.
I mean, those hard containers had to be somewhere, man. We've gotten so much progression that we were kind of starting to get to way more towards the junk items.
But rather than leave any stone unturned, we have Stumpy here, and he's actually giving us the Fire Sword or the Tempered Sword. We don't want to burn himself down, so it's probably for the better.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Maybe he just wanted a tattoo and he's giving us the implement.
Man, we're going to brand him with a sword? That seems... Or maybe we can tell him to go to the smiths. Oh! Those are some mitts right there, locked behind the mirror in South of Grove Cave. Activate
Swole mode.
Getting our flex on. So, it's actually been pretty crazy here, Udai, but we are only a couple items from no mode. We just need that ice rod and the flippers. Actually, we don't. Well, we do need the flippers for it, but we don't need it for any of the dungeons.
So we need flippers for logic, but not necessarily. Well, I mean, something could be in Swamp Palace. We could find the ice rod in there.
Yes, that is correct.
Flippers potentially optional, though, if we're looking at sequence breaks.
Possible bombos, too, but I would not be surprised if either one of these runners just, go modes in a dungeon to try and bank on it being 1 or 3, or they'll just go straight up there to confirm it.
Yeah, given how quickly everything's been going here, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to make a gamble, probably thinking that their opponent is, hot on their heels. And they're not wrong either. I mean, there's only a couple of items separating these runners as far as what they found. Looks like Patty's going to grab his Jeremiah the Bullfrog for a quick tour, not quite the world tour. In the meantime, Troupster's clearing out Village of Outcasts.
And nice little heart container. It's good for these runners to get a little bit more. I mean, they're on red mail, so it's not as bad, but getting extra heart containers, I don't think any runner is going to say no to extra safety like that.
Yeah, it's amazing that we have red mail already. With this kind of health, I think they have 9 or 10 hearts respectively. Definitely a comfy position to be in for clearing dungeons.
I don't think did Troop Mire for Sick Kid yet? I don't think so. Okay. No, okay, not yet. We are getting a Thieves Town dip right here. And no hammer from Troop side. So very interesting thing though, with that hammer back at pod and them completing Aghanim, it is 100% required by the logic that you only have to single dip this. So you have to keep that in mind when we're going through and if the big chest has an item.
Yeah, it should not require one then. And of course, that would imply that our key for that big chest is in the, for the room that opens it, is inside that room. So if that's the case, then we won't be able to even open it up at all.
Exactly. Nope, but there's the small key, so it could be something in the big chest, but we'll have to see after we go through this farther. We had a magic bat check, and there was only a big 20 from Patty's side.
Oh, very interesting that Troupster didn't elect to go further into the dungeon. If there was nothing back there, this is a good choice. But he may have been looking into the key logic the same way you were.
And without the hammer, I can't blame him. If you have the hammer, you probably have a little bit more incentive to finish it, but if it's a pendant. But I totally understand, like, you don't want to get down there. Oh, there's bombos, so never mind. So medallions are not an issue for this seed at all.
Yeah, that's a great relief for anyone to have, and both of our runners are about to find it at the same time almost. So Patty has all of this inventory. We'll see if he's going to full clear this dungeon. He has everything he needs. And he's going to be in a pretty good position to go do his North Dark World check immediately following this dungeon if he doesn't decide to do Skull Woods first. And so he'll probably be getting his Cane of Samaria pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I would think so. Has to go back to that Ice Rod Cave, which is going to be a little bit out of the way at this point, but...
Oh, I mixed it up with Graveyard Ledge. Whoops.
Yeah, no problem. So we do actually have desert access, but we can also get the book as well, because we have Titans-Smiths. So I don't know if that book's going to be a red herring or not, but after Troupster gets this Titans-Smiths here very shortly, might make a DP play.
Oh, we got a quick little warg with this small little chocobo here on Patty's screen. That's the bunny sprite, and Troupster's picking up his Titans-Smith, so we have lift capability for both of our runners now.
I mean, let's be honest. If you're playing a Cactar sprite from Final Fantasy, is there really anything else that the bunny beam could be other than a chocobo? Everything else would seem wrong.
No, not at all. Not at all. With that, though, Troupster has picked up his matching gauntlet set and his fire sword as well, his tempered or bacon sword, depending on your preference. So both of our runners in really great equipment status here should be able to start really fast clearing these dungeons.
All right, Troops heading down to Hype Cave, and note, Patty is going to the backside of Pendant Thieves again with that hammer, so can check everything along the way. And I didn't notice, was there a compass in the front part? I think. Am I correct on that?
I did not catch that personally. My bad. I think so though. Problem IRL in chat asking about where Hammer was, or Pod did have Hammer actually. It was French Vanilla.
Yeah, it was in the front light basement of Pod. Okay, and there we go. Troop after Hype Cave is going to go away from his Dark World routing and is going to check what the Mire Medallion is, even though it doesn't particularly matter, and can actually full clear both of these dungeons for crystals.
Yep, we didn't see any sort of setup for that new spooky action glitch with the flute there, so he's probably not going to be attempting that. Patty finding a map here in the basement as well, so I think he has the key. He will be checking the big chest here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it's a 50-50 at the very least at this point.
And of course, if he finds the item here, he won't have to kill blind. I don't think.
Oh, I guess I think maybe there has also been the compass too. We're getting a checkerboard cave check though. There's the bloomerang. Yeah, I agree. Bloomerang's pretty cool. I mean, I actually like both boomerangs because they're good for different things.
Well, I guess the case can be made that the time it would have taken him to pick it up would have outweighed the lag frames he would have saved, and we're getting acid blind from Patty here.
Oh yeah.
This is a fun thing you can do to the game when you hit the select button during the text box. Or basically, we just mess with the palette from the beginning of the fight, and this actually persists until you save and quit, I believe.
Oh, there's the flippers in desert. Okay. All right, we are just literally an ice rod away from no mode.
And I don't believe there's anything of value for Patty there. It looked like a big fiver. So he's going to hopefully fix his color scheme here, and I don't know if he's going to make the same kinds of calls that Troupster's making here, though. He does not have that flute yet.
Yeah, geez, so that's actually kind of crazy. So, okay, very important thing. That means that the mitts were required to get the book, to get you desert access, to get the flippers, to get to the flute. That is what the logic was requiring of these runners right here. Now that we got that confirmation of flippers on the torch.
Yeah, so Troupster has effectively skipped the book at this point. And the Death Mountain ascent and descent from that. So having that flute actually did pay off quite a lot.
Yeah, I'd say that right now Troop has a fairly large advantage because, he can't go into Turtle Rock without that hammer, and he can't complete Ice Palace without the hammer. So I can't really go too far in Swamp without the hammer. So I think, man, we might be getting a fairly fast go mode from Troupster's side here fairly shortly.
Well, the convergence looks to have been real when it comes to logic pointing Troupster where you really can or cannot go. Patty's early decision to go to Palace of Darkness really benefiting him mostly so he could access, various parts of the world. But, of course, we have the benefit on the commentator couch, of course, and in the audience of seeing what these runners are doing side by side. Patty's got to kind of work with what he's got in front of him. And with Skullwoods being down up next, he actually only has a few more crystals to go. It remains to be seen if Troupster's relative advantage here will end up being enough for him to overtake him.
Yeah, definitely. As Troupster gets a nice zero cycle on Land Mollusk right there and gets fourth crystal right here. It's probably going to go straight back into Mire since you're already over here with the cane, with the lamp. Everything's fine. No dark rooms. And we'll get another crystal here fairly shortly.
So I guess the remaining question then will come down to Ice Rod, and I'm wondering where we're going to find it. We've seen a lot of places already, and Turtle Rock, I got to think they're going to try and check as many things before Turtle Rock as they can.
Troupster actually remembering that because of Compass being on Land Mollusk, there still is items in Desert.
Well, we've seen crazier things in the desert before, so wouldn't be surprised to see it here. Would be very nice to have this before Land Mollusk, as it turns out that's actually an item you can use against Land Mollusk if you're playing this game vanilla. Fun thing you can find, but the bomb bag upgrade, not useful here.
No, unfortunately not. I mean, you don't want to leave an item there and have it stand in your eyes.
Yeah, you'd have a lot of difficulty, hitting all the right notes, or at least being accurate when you're trying to finish up this seed quickly.
All right, and it was Bombos, so that dip into Village of Outcasts was required to get into Mire. And we got Mothiel on Patty's side with that Tempered Sword. It should make it a little bit easier. Oh, wow, the Fire Rod actually off the spike, actually getting the last hit. Very nice for Patty right there.
Yep, as long as you hit a sprite with the Fire Rod, it will do splash damage in a pretty forgiving space around it, pretty much a tile and a half almost. So you can use that to pretty great effect. Troupster showing us some really nice Mire 2 strats, unfortunately having a little bit of difficulty with a couple of the sword beams, but that's why it's so important to have full health walking in. There are 2 items here in Misery Mire, though. Remains to be seen if we're going to find the one we want here. Definitely have to clear it anyway, so not a bad decision to be here.
Yeah, definitely not. And with boots, it makes traversing this dungeon a heck of a lot quicker. Having the hook shot does help as well. But, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps with that big chest on the right side, particularly. It's a lot easier to do, particularly if you didn't have the... the boots in the first place. That hook shot would allow you to get across a much more difficult gap. Troupster getting trolled a little bit by his iframes.
Oh man, iframes. I mean, they help and they hurt sometimes.
Yeah, you can't activate that switch until they expire. Same thing happens with the damage boost in Eastern Palace.
Oh man, and Patty, because not having that Cane of Samaria from Ice Rod Cave, is having to do this standard right now, and it's a lot slower. Just don't get grabbed by the Wall Master. All right, good. Everything's fine.
Yep, definitely an exercise in pushing preferred over pulling if you're trying to be safe when you're doing any kind of heavy lifting or heavy work. A lot slower to pull it, and that actually mimics real life.
Yeah.
Troupster is going to have to go through this torch room, may or may not have the actual big key chest as well. Depends on if there's an item here.
Okay, there is the big key. Oh, it's going to go... Oh, okay, just going to skip the vanilla big key chest just because it's really slow.
Yep, he's going to try and gamble on it being on Vitreous, which is not a bad, guess to make. I mean, if it ends up working out, you save that one of the longest cutscenes in the game. Meanwhile, Patty's made his way through everything he can do here in Skull Woods. He didn't find anything of value trying to get that one item over by the Moth. So he's going to make his way through his north side checks here.
Yeah, it's going to see there's nothing on Bumper Cave. It's going to, say hi to those murder dactyls right there. And Troupster is going to go kill Vitreous right now. And with Silver Arrows, we'll make really quick work of Vitreous. I mean, Silver Arrows just makes a world of difference on there.
It's always a little disappointing to not see the WQ D-boost strats.
Yeah, that is a really cool strat, honestly.
But we are relatively low in health, even with Red Mail. Doesn't really help you out much there, just we're going to take a static amount of damage from the goop.
Patty, speaking of low on health, Patty actually grabbing that piece of heart to get an extra heart container. So I don't know if he's counting that or just opting to do that, but that was a very nice play from Patty to get a little extra safety. Ooh. Oh, we're getting the other setup. We're getting the original setup of Spooky Action Glitch. Troop just threw a block in there, and it's going to Fire Rod dash, and I think was a little too far to the right.
He's got to hit him. So how that works is you have to hit the actual anti-fairy and scroll the screen upwards so the switch is loaded. And because of setting the altitude variable on the Samaria block, it messes with the Fire Rod splash damage, and you can hit it through the wall. But so it's kind of precise doing that dash. It's kind of annoying to do as well. The newer setup is a little more reliable, but I suppose probably a little bit more practice you have to do for it. Well, we will see, hopefully, a zero cycle from Troupster to make up for that. That's a good 10 seconds he had to lose. But no, he's going to do damage boost strats.
Troupster, you have silvers, dude. Just do silvers. Unless he's just more comfortable with tempered.
No, I like this, man. It's worth the one cycle.
Oh, and actually did enough damage to Vitreous, so only one silver arrow was required.
Yeah, for when he's lining up his lightning attacks, you can actually do some spin attacks to him, and it does damage. It's just never faster to try to go for exclusively that, but you can save a silver arrow and be a little quicker on the draw there. Those silver arrows do 100 damage in the game's units. The fighter sword does 1.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Vitreous is one of the only 2 bosses in the game that can take more than 1 silver arrow, Ganon, of course, being the other.
That's actually very true. All right, we've got Troupster going up to... Oh, okay, to Dark Death Mountain. Not going to Pod still. Very interesting choice from Troup's side.
Well, that's good news for Patty, who is also doubling up on his good news. He's going to get his Cane of Samaria here. I'm wondering if he's going to react to this. This is over an hour in now.
Yeah, I hope doesn't decide to dip TR. That would be really unfortunate. Hopefully he goes up to Dark Death Mountain as well. Okay.
It seems like a logical enough play.
Yeah, okay. So let's see if he dips TR when he does come up here. But we'll get that book, which will give him the flipper access. First piece of the puzzle for him.
How did Troupster just clip through that? Okay, so when you do hookshot clips, they can be kind of finicky and kind of annoying. Patty has to take the drive-through route because he gets dead rocked twice in the Waffle House over there. But yeah, sometimes hookshot clips don't work perfectly as intended, being that it is an exploit of the movement mechanics. So Troupster managed to wiggle his way through there, fortunately.
I don't know what you're talking about. Every hitbox in this game is properly coded.
You're 100% correct. This game is flawless.
All right, Troupster opting to go straight into Hookshot Cave because, again, it has all the medallions, doesn't need to know what the medallion is. Gets a 5-bomb capacity upgrade and gets a piece of heart in the second chest. And another 5-bomb capacity upgrade. Jeez. All right, and a swag net. Nice, dude. He can finish the seed properly now.
Yep, I suppose that means, well, you know, it's almost even like a sequence break to even have killed Aghanim in the first place. We don't have the swag net. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Maybe they'll fix that in V30.
Well, I like to call this version 29 Rage Slashes for all of the craziness of the logic that we've experienced. Wouldn't be surprised if our runners felt that way after having to get a book an hour in just to logically be able to do all the things we've done so far.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of line of logic happen all too much. Okay, so Troop is not even going over towards Turtle Rock. It's just gonna nope over to Spike Cave instead. It looks like, oh, well, Ether giving some slashes to GT along the way. Man, really doesn't like Ganon.
He's saying to Aghanim, I'm coming for you. Just letting him know this is my block.
No, he was saying, are you smelling what the Turtle Rock is cooking?
What? Alright, that's old WWF and then eventually WWE references we're making here. Not everybody in the crowd may be familiar with that one.
That's probably true.
I would be overjoyed if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was watching this. Ooh, final sword upgrade is in Spike Cave.
Patty did not go to Floating Island.
Uh-oh. Now, of course, I mean, if he decides to fake flipper at this point, you know, he could avoid it altogether, but ugh. Maybe he realized? I don't know. I mean, I can't even think of where he's going at this point.
He seems confused. Oh, did he just realize? I think when he pulled the mirror out, I think he may have realized. Yeah, okay, he did.
Oh, so he intends to go back up the mountain. He may have seen it and just thought, well, I probably don't need that, and then realizing, wait a second, stuff can be locked behind that. Troupster's trying really hard for the God Pixel here.
He did get it, but then got absolutely goal kept by the anti-fairy at the end.
I admire his persistence, but perhaps not the best time use. I mean, he almost had it. If there weren't for that anti-fairy, that would have been a pretty nice-looking, God Pixel dash through the Hellway. Well, it's been an hour and almost 5 minutes of this race so far, and Patty is so bored he's going to go pick up a magazine to read.
I mean, it must be a really interesting magazine. It's got to be like, I don't know, one of those, old video game magazines that's been around for ages. Maybe like the news, like World News or something. I don't know.
I was under the impression that it's a book of Hylian puns, only readable in the original language, and as a Cactuar, he absolutely has to learn every language he can. Nobody's going to understand what he's saying just by looking at him.
Oh, that's actually a good point. I totally didn't think of that, but that makes a lot of sense.
And of course, chat is immediately letting us know what they think a magazine would be here in Hyrule. But at the same time, Troupster's going to finish up Thieves Town, and Patty's going to remember that book.
I think the good news for Troop is that after Thieves Town, I don't think anything else is like kind of a good logical check for him. I think it has to go to pot after this. I mean, you could check the first chest of Swamp, and you could check the first 3 chests of Ice Pals, but do you really want to do that?
Both of those pretty bad gambles to make in most people's eyes. And on top of that, so many more items more likely accessible in Palace of Darkness.
Oh, you know what? I actually am wondering if Troop is doing this because we're going to route in a ped check after.
It's not that hard to imagine. That's definitely in his path, and at this point, he knows that it's pretty limited in how he's going to get these things. He even uses a bomb during the explosion cutscene, thinking that the C4 that Blind is packed with wasn't quite enough. Yeah, I mean, he's picked up 2 pendants at this point. Or, I'm sorry, 1 pendant. I can't count.
Alright, so Patty, let's see where Patty's gonna go. This looks like a Bombos check first. And then maybe a Swamp Dip? No, probably going, no, I doubt a Swamp Dip. That would be crazy, right? Before Desert Palace?
I mean, for as nuts as this logic has been...
I guess he can't go into there. Don't mind me.
Oh yeah, no flute. Or wait.
No flippers.
What are you talking about?
No, Swamp Palace. He can't go into Swamp Palace.
I'm so confused at this point. Yeah, so he definitely can't access that. You can't fake flipper Swamp Palace. However, he could potentially consider his fake flipper to Hobo, thinking, hey, I haven't seen these flippers, and there's only so many places I can't go right now.
Ooh, have we gotten a purple chest check yet?
I don't believe so, and I'm pretty sure nobody has checked Magic Bat yet, unless Patty did earlier.
Patty did check that. It was just a big 20 earlier.
Well, we'll get confirmation on that, of course, and then, yeah, I don't think he took the time, because he didn't have flute. We would have seen him walking and dragging that around for a while. Good news for Patty, though. He's going to pick up those flippers, and that will probably take him to the flute pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, density-wise, I'm trying to think. I don't think you would go into Swamp House at this point when you now have all that overworld stuff. And that book has actually been open for a fairly long while as well. They got those mitts a long time ago.
Ooh, some really nice tech here out of Troupster using hook dashes, using a hook shot pull to set up a dash with the purple chest. Normally you can't dash when it's following you, But if you charge up or start your dash while you're in the hookshot animation, the game doesn't really realize what it's supposed to do and lets you dash anyway. You can do it with the big bomb as well.
All right, Troop is going to use the Aghanim portal to get back into the Dark World, and is probably going to head back over to Pod now.
Chat is rightly pointing out that we could have just fluted with the purple chest, but Troupster here is a fan of the swag, apparently. And looks like it is time for him to head to Palace of Darkness, so he's going to find his hammer. We are not going to find Ice Rod in here. We're not in go mode yet, but we are rapidly approaching that one-item mode.
Now, if you were in this situation after Troupster gets his hammer and finishes Pod, do you bank on a pen and ice, a pen and swamp, or a not completable crystal turtle rock?
Well, there's only one item in Swamp, and if you find it, you can finish the dungeon, but you don't have to, so you would definitely be jumping out of there pretty quickly. Palace of Darkness we're about to do, I think I would dive into Ice.
Well, he'll have the hammer. He'll be able to full complete Swamp.
Oh, yeah, good point. Ooh. I don't know. I mean, I think Swamp Palace probably makes more sense for item density and less time having to route in crazy ways. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, if it's me, I'm a Swamp Palace fanatic. I probably do that. But I think at this point, you're an hour, let's say just roughly it'll be an hour 16, hour 17 in. You still got to feel like that's pretty fast in general. You may take the turtle rock dip.
Yeah, we already found out, Chad asking about Pyramid Fairy, we already found out that there was, wait, that was, Silver, right?
Pyramid Fairy?
I'm mixing everything up. I was watching a race just a little bit ago. So yeah, we haven't been to Pyramid Fairy yet.
Yeah, no. Because we have each of the crystals, but they're on opposite sides of the screen.
Yes, correct. Thank you. But so we have a couple of checks we can make. There is some discussion in chat about going to Turtle Rock immediately, and it's not a terrible play. There's plenty of items you can find in there, but if you don't, I mean, that's probably the race.
Yeah, especially for Patty. I've got a feeling that Troupster has a bit of an advantage right now because of having already completed Mire.
Yeah, Mire can be made pretty quick, but we didn't have favorable routing. We did find that big key behind the torch room, and it ended up paying off to skip the vanilla big key location. Troupster finding his hammer, he hits the mirror immediately, almost excitedly.
Yeah, so Troupster now can finish up a 6 crystal, and the hunt for the Ice Rod is officially a go.
Yep, and that'll be it for both of our runners. They'll have to find just that one item. Patty's going to get his last other progression item here, which is a flute. So if you've been hearing tunes as you cross the middle bridge here, that's probably the Hobro down here serenading you.
Yeah, didn't know this guy was actually a musician in a past life and is fairly talented. I don't understand why he doesn't have a job maybe at the castle or something.
Well, you can thank Aghanim for the tax cuts that prevent that from being a possibility, but Troupster here still has a few items to go. Patty has some decisions to make. He's almost certainly going to go activate his flute and head to Mire, but who knows if he's going to do Turtle Rock immediately after that, or if he's going to make the kind of decision that Troupster has to make as well.
Yeah, and man, I would not want to be one of these runners right now. That's just such a crazy... just some crazy things to ask is like, okay, where do I get this like Ice Rod that can literally be anywhere? This is like some of the hardest decisions of all of Randomizer.
Well, all rise and all be seated for your Hyrulean national anthem. Patty playing it quite a bit later into the game, but play ball, I suppose.
Yeah, he played during the 7th inning stretch.
There we go. And actually, that's not that far off from where we are in this race. Really just a couple of dungeons to go.
Yeah, indeed. So just got the big chest for troop side, and we'll head off to kill Helmosaur King, as Patty is going to come over and get the purple chest, it looks like.
Yeah, we know that wasn't too important. But, you know, every little bit of health. What was it, a heart piece, I think? Or no, it was a big 20.
I think it was a heart piece, but either way, it was just junk. There's nothing really there. Now, the interesting thing... Okay, him kind of starting to route to 6 on the flute map makes me think he's going to go to Mire next, and is not going to go to Swamp instead.
Certainly appears to be the case. We're going to find out right away, though. Yep, he's heading to Misery Mire now. And then Troupster, as soon as we see him finish off his Helmosaur King fight, we'll find out exactly what his gambit is. So he almost seems to be about, what, half a dungeon ahead right now? Misery Mire is a little bit of a longer one, though.
I'd almost say a full dungeon ahead, because you know Patty's gonna do these checks right here, and by the time he gets into Mire, he might only be starting to get through the broken bridge and like the spike room chest.
That makes a lot of sense. I'd be inclined to agree with that. And of course, it all depends on him not having any troubles with this fight. I don't see why he would. He has pretty much everything he needs to make this quick. So yeah, the gambit here, I mean, whether or not to go to Turtle Rock or to go to one of these pendant dungeons really seems to be the linchpin of this race.
Yeah, that might end up deciding the place. One of these runners might get randoed pretty hard if it's in one of those pendant dungeons, and the other one decides not to go to TR. But we'll find out very shortly here from Troop side. Troop is just heading into the Helmosaur King fight right now, and is going to opt to do the regular NMG strats with no sword buffering.
Yep, there is an advantage to holding the sword out when you use the hammer. It's not as fast, but you do have a little bit bigger of a hitbox. It's best used when you've taken the mask all the way off. But he can use just a silver arrow here to finish it off, so he will.
Oh, nice. He did skewer the silver arrow in there. And Troupster's getting 6 crystal right now. And let's see where he opts to go.
Well, while we wait on that decision, do you want to take just a moment to recommend everybody here? These guys are really great randomizer runners, and they're putting on a great show for us. You should give them a follow. Definitely going to be people you're going to see, whether they're in this tournament or playing randomizer in the future. Great people to watch.
Yeah, and again, like I said, this is a 4-2 match. This is a winner go home type of match. So one of these runners will advance to the bracket stage after getting that 5-2 record. So a lot is on the line in this match.
So this could also be Pyramid Fairy, not just Swamp.
That is very true, because now we do have access to both of those 5-6 crystals, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Troop having that Aghanim portal too, to make it a lot faster to just do that.
Well, it's starting to look like it, and really good game knowledge to remember that you have the Pyramid Fairy at this point. I mean, something that you check really early on, you don't necessarily think too much about it later on, and he even fills up his entire bomb capacity for the low, low price of 100 rupees.
Man,
Holy
I
moly,
remember...
that's 46.
What was that?
He has 46 bombs.
That is a lot of bombs, man. He's got more bombs than arrows.
The value.
So much value. Yeah, I just remember when Big Bomb was a thing in the Key Sanity tournament, and there were times where if you lost the bomb once, you couldn't afford it again because the seeds were so poor.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Rupee farming, not a complete stranger in this version of the logic. Although, thankfully, in standard modes, even the randomized swords, we don't see it that much. A big 20 and a piece of heart means we are not finding it here in the Pyramid Fairy today. We are, however, going to try to get a value trade here.
Oh, the bee actually goes towards the fairy. Interesting. Oh, green goo. Okay.
It seems like it interacts with any active sprites on the screen, but green goo is definitely nice. I mean, we don't have to use too much magic here, but if we were to go into Ice Palace, that could become relevant if we wanted to burn Cold Stare down really fast.
All right, Patty went to that vanilla big key chest location. I believe that Troupster skipped it because he knew it was not an item. So a little bit of save time on Troop's side, and Troop is heading back up to Turtle Rock.
So this could either be amazing or absolutely catastrophic. Now, I'm a big fan and proponent of finding Ice Rod in Chomp's cave, or Chomp's room. So, I mean, maybe Troopster's just reading my mind.
Yeah, very much so. I am personally, those are my least favorite enemies in the whole game. And so I think they should burn.
Also known as Bow Wows if you play Link's Awakening as well. But Troupster here, not getting Dead Rock, doing very well. He's going to open up his portal and make his foray into Turtle Rock. He has everything he needs to do it besides that Ice Rod, so stay tuned, folks. This is getting really exciting. Meanwhile, Patty is heading into the Vitreous fight. Now, the worst thing that can happen for Patty here is if he makes the same exact decision and it doesn't pay off for Troupster here. Well, I mean, if Troupster ends up not finding Ice Rod and Patty decides to go up Turtle Rock as well, that would be the worst case scenario for him.
And by the way, that Bombos was our medallion, so Ether and Quake were completely irrelevant.
Kind of funny that we found Bombos last, if I recall correctly.
That is indeed correct.
You know, Chad is pointing out that it is possible that Ice Rod could be on Shamalama Ding Dong, and if that's the case, I mean, that's quite a fetch.
Oh God, that's. I mean, just in my my race the other day, it had progression fire rods, so you know, like it's definitely can be there, and that would be really awful.
I mean, I'm right about this, right? I mean, that's still a possibility on pedestal. It's the only thing blocking it is Trinex, or that's the only thing that we need it for. Oh my God.
Yep, that is the troll thing of an Ice Rod Go mode, is that it can literally be anywhere except for Trinex, which is required to beat the game.
Well, folks, we're going to find out. Maybe not quickly and maybe very soon. These chests here having just a big key, or not big key, two small keys. And we're going to Cane and Burn our way back out of here. Patty using his silver arrows for hopefully a single cycle, because it looks like he's not going to make the 0 cycle here. Oh, and he does it!
Yeah, very nice fight from Patty. I think only missed like 1 arrow right there, so great job. Gets his burrito.
He was only frames away from missing the 0 cycle completely. All right, I'm in clench mode. Let's see what these chain chomps have.
Oh man, that one chain chomp is right in the way. Oh, it's a red bottle. So I believe that's 3 of our bottles.
Yep, that should be correct. And with that, it looks like Patty's going to check his Pyramid Fairy as well. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing.
Where are you going, Patty? No, you can go the other way, dude. I think that book may have flustered Patty a little bit, especially in the way he's kind of like routing around right now.
Well, it's very good that he remembered it, and this could be a very different race if he had forgotten that and tried to look around afterwards. Now, of course, there are still plenty of locations here in Turtle Rock that could have the Ice Rod. Everything all the way up to the end of Laser Bridge, including Mimic Cave, could have it. So Troupster finding his big key here will still continue looking.
Wouldn't be a true, somewhat vanilla seed if you didn't have vanilla big key chest and in Turtle Rock. Oh, and we're also going to be getting a Mimic Cave check here as well, here shortly.
Troupster finding a fairy drop, which is always nice from a Pokey, whether it's Randomizer or NMG. At the same time, Patty will be checking his Pyramid Fairy, hopefully switching out his bottle for his B. Nope, he's going to skip that, maybe doing it later or just buying the potions.
All right, moment of truth for Patty. He's going to follow Troop up to Turtle Rock, or are we going to get a pen and dip?
Oh, he's going Ice Palace.
Oh, baby, get hype, chat. We've got a pen and dip from Patty.
Meanwhile, Mimic Cave, Piece of Heart, Vanilla.
Oh, wait. Oh, a waterfall check, I think, first.
I don't believe he would have had an opportunity to check this, so he's doing this now. Now, he could actually still be going back to Ice Palace, for all we know. But kind of surprised that he was going here. Oh, I guess this is faster than fluting to 2.
Okay, is actually going to head over to Zora. Hadn't checked Zora yet, so it's saying, okay, this was open for forever. Let's go just double check it.
Well, we do have another chest here for Troupster.
We might have got super debated right there.
That's all right. I mean, it can't compare to what our runners are going to go through here. I mean, Troupster has the laser bridge, and that's it. This is really tense.
Oh, man. Also, are we going to get a pet check before Troop dips into either of those pendant dungeons? If the Ice Rod's not here, obviously.
Yeah, if you've gone all the way through Turtle Rock, I think it's time to check it. Patty, however, is climbing the mountain.
Oh, man. Okay, now Patty is going to be officially a dungeon behind.
Well, we got a big 20 on the first one. Another big 20 on the second one. There's that required key we needed. And a burrito.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So this is actually kind of disastrous for Patty. However, if Troupster makes the wrong pendant gamble, or possibly checks for pedestal, I mean, there's still a couple of opportunities for Patty to catch up some time here.
Yeah, very much so. I think for Patty's sake, it should not be on the pedestal.
Yeah, that would be pretty brutal. Troupster heading back up to the mountain. I'm kind of curious if he had forgotten maybe his tablet?
Spike Cave, because Patty already went there.
And I believe that will be our last sword upgrade, right?
That is correct, yes.
Now, of course, our butter sword not nearly as important as... Oh, wow, getting the nice fairy drop. Very convenient for Troupster there. But the butter sword not as important as the upgrade to tempered, by far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes the first 2 phases a little bit faster, but the rest of it not really. It doesn't make that big of a difference. You can still get 1 cycles regardless.
Well, so thankfully for Patty, this makes his check of the Spike Cave before a little more time neutral. He would not have lost any time over Troupster doing so, and this does give him a little bit of time to get some of this done as well. Everything that Patty has checked, that Troupster checks now, will be little bits inching him back towards an even race here, but definitely a pretty significant advantage for Troupster so far.
Yeah, I would definitely say so right now. All right. Oh, looks like
a flute to 3.
3. Please go check the ped, Mr. Troupster.
It could be a portal. He's going to the right side of this. Oh, but he selects the hammer. He's passing the portal? No, he's not. Oh my god, I'm getting debated left and right here by Troupster.
Oh my god, Troop, please. He's going to hammer peg? No, wait. I did hammer pegs already. Oh no, he didn't. He didn't do hammer pegs.
All right, well, in that case, there's just a little bit of extra time here for Patty. This is all kind of adding up. I mean, at this point, I feel like I would probably want the intel of the pet if I was heading there. But it's easy for me to say. I'm on the commentary couch, cozy here with Trojan Dude. Thanks again, shoutouts for joining me on this commentary. This has been so hype.
Yeah, totally, dude. I agree. I mean, we had all that extra early progression. And now it's just, man, that these ice rod hunts can be super hype until we actually find out where it is, because these runners have some route divergence possibility.
Well, nothing here on Peg Cave, as we already knew for Troupster. I'm wondering if Peg Cave will transfer into Ped Cave. Check.
Outdoor cave? Like an amphitheater?
Amphitheatrical styling here for Troupster. He's going to make his way, looks like, as far as we can tell, presuming no other remaining trolls from this runner, to check to see what's behind that the pedestal.
All right, chat. Get your Hyperinos out.
Bless RNG if you believe in Ice Rod here, like you and me.
Oh, just pocket change. That is a 1 or 5 rupee.
And that is rough news for anybody who really wanted to see that pedestal today. However, it does mean that this gamble becomes very important. We have everything we need for both of these dungeons, so who knows?
Well, it looks like Troupster is going to be heading to Swamp Palace with this routing right here.
I'm inclined to agree with this. I mean, you get our green pendant from this, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, this has 7 items. Swamp is the most dense dungeon in the whole game with 6 items, and then the green pendant gives it extra value. Oh, we're going to have a... Bombo check first, because Patty did, and then you're going to route into it. That makes a lot of sense.
So I'm wondering if Patty decides not to check the pedestal, and he makes his way straight to Swamp, making, I would assume, to be the sensible gamble. You're going to what has more items and is easier to check, and is potentially go modable if you find it early, or just dippable. Patty might not be as far behind as he was at the beginning of this dungeon.
So there are a lot of runners that just avoid Swamp like the plague. There's too many locusts there and stuff. They feel like they're going to get a disease or something like that. So they just decide they want to go everywhere else except for Swamp. But, if you're at this point in the race, you probably want to go for item density.
Well, Patty is not too far from finding out that this is a bust. And then, of course, from there on out, once our runners do find their ice rod, it's just a mad dash to finish Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower, which, we shouldn't have too many problems with for the equipment we have.
No, not at all. Trinex will be an absolute joke, and you can actually do the 0 cycle on Trinex because you got boots and butter.
Buttery boots, icy floors, sounds like a frictionless fight.
I mean, friction is overrated. It just brings your run down to a skidding halt.
I gotta ask, what kind of shoes would a cactus wear?
That's a great question.
Perhaps red to match his hair, but Troupster finding the Sankart.
We found Sankart. We found a very important piece of information.
I just gotta get really hyped for that. Shout out to Sankart, probably saving his life like he usually does for most NMG runners. Wow, we're getting some sick laser bridge skips here from Patty. He's saving time, actually, except for that
fall. You had
fall.
to curse him, Udai. You had to say something, man.
He was saving time, and technically with stream delay, he had already fallen.
Okay, that's kind of fair. I'll allow it.
Interestingly enough, Patty here is going to try to preserve a portal. That would actually be a gigantic advantage if he can hold it through a save and continue. Or if he never has to use it. So he might be banking on Ice Palace. Oh, no, I don't even know. You can't preserve that. No. He's pretty much, he's not going to be able to come back in through that entrance.
Oh man, we've got a swamp. Patty almost went to ice. Was hovering on it. Oh, and there it is! In the bottom chest of Swamp Palace, guys, at an hour 34 minutes, we have Troop in go mode.
And Patty's not that far behind. He's going to find that very early in Ice Palace. So this is what, a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes difference tops?
Oh, if that, I mean, geez, I'd definitely say less than 2 minutes.
This is wild. And there's no reason that Patty wouldn't, find that immediately. There's no reason you would ever go to the back or check left before you check that chest.
And
so
man, oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I mean, Ganon's tower routing, potentially very important here.
No, and the thing is that, Patty might look back on this, and if a change in, or a difference in GT routing makes a difference on like when they get the big key, I mean that decision hovering over Ice Palace to not go there, it could be a game-winning play for Patty.
Well, we're always looking for saving throws here, and Troupster is going to head right back into Turtle Rock. He's got to be very careful with his execution here, because simple mistakes now are more important than they've really been, at any point from our perspective. Patty picking up his sand cart. At this point, there's nothing extra we have to do in these dungeons. This is go mode, in its truest form.
Yeah, they won't be opening up any additional chests in Ganon's tower when they get there. And thankfully, Turtle Rock, after you've already gone through it once, is fairly fast. Because you can, all the doors are already open. You don't have to do all the kind of slow, crazy strats in some of these rooms.
Also, looking at it, it's been about 2 minutes since Troupster picked up his ice rod. I think 3 minutes might have been actually pretty accurate for a estimation. That's certainly make-upable in Ganon's tower, let alone the logic or which way you go, your gambits when it comes to the big key, even execution. This is a place where Patty could actually benefit a lot from leaning on his NMG experience.
Definitely. Also, I see some numbers in chat. Hold off on, guys. Once Troop gets to the laser bridge here, we'll start it because he will be going straight over and there won't be much time. And I'll give it a bit of explanation. There are 22 chests that can be in Ganon's tower. Once I start it, put in your guess of which one it will be.
Yeah, and Patty hitting his go mode about 2.5 minutes after Troupster here, so he's going to make his way straight up to the mountain. This is still super tight. All right, well, Troupster is making his way around the dark maze here, of course, the platform maze, not having really any issue whatsoever. This is pretty straightforward. Patty, desperately trying to hookshot his way across that bridge, finally does find some purchase. Troupster, though, making his way right over to the Trinex fight, so we'll probably be getting that started soon, won't we?
Yes, we are. I should have just started it right now. And oh my god, it's a flood of numbers in chat. Holy moly, it's like the swamp floodgates opened into the number gates opened.
With absolutely no restraint. People viciously trying to get their first number in. There are only 22 of them, so I get the feeling that amongst all of you who are Speed Gaming supporters or donators to 250 bits or more, one of you has picked that number that it will eventually be. But we're going to see Troupster here doing backdoor strats, remembering the menu. He misses his fire rod, so that 0 cycles off the table, but he should be able to get the 1 with that.
Yeah, almost got it. But yeah, once you don't get that, you pretty much are into a 1 cycle. But only gonna need 1 spin and 1 slash, and we are gonna be done. And gets it. Very nice fight from Troop right there.
Yep, excellently handled. So since we are approaching Ganon's tower here, what do you think we're gonna see today for the big key Trojan dude?
I always go with number 11 is my lucky number. What about yourself, Udai?
Well, I haven't seen Dr. Bobtastic yet in this chat steal my numbers, so it's going to be 14 today. I'm a fan of Bob.
That's fair enough, man. I can respect that.
Otherwise, it would be tile room, but actually, I'm kind of hoping for tile. No, I'm going to revise that. I'm hoping for tile room. That gives Patty the best chance to catch up here.
Yeah, I mean, only a half of a dungeon behind, and it's a very quick fight overall. All right, so I will be stopping here very shortly.
Oh, and shout out to the Profe Gamer for taking that number from me anyway. So yes, I want tile room today. Oh, I'm getting called out in chat about taking Bob's number. Okay, he can have it. With that, though, we will stop the numbers here. We're going to have our first and second chests here immediately. This could lead us down the right side. With a small key, that's very possible right now.
Okay, so this could be a very important choice right here. Troop goes right side right now, and Patty goes left, and it is not in the right side. That will bring Patty back most of the difference right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty big time sink to go, to the side. And actually, Troupster having some issues with that torch if he ends up having to redo this room.
I don't think he's going to make it. Oh my god,
wow.
He barely made it.
Well, that's fortunate for him, because that could have been a pretty annoying time loss there. Another 15, 20 seconds easily. That's chest number 3 here. Gonna give him a full heal and refill. Wow, heart cave room. Heart piece room.
Lots of pieces of heart right there. Apparently, it was pretty hungry with all those pieces of heart.
Yeah, he had to get a slice. 3/4 of the whole thing, actually. He would have definitely been full after that meal.
Oh, Patty having some problems with the dash strats right there. And is going to have to go down. Oh, and then getting trolled by the head a little bit right here on the ice side. And there we have it.
So I believe that was
last phase.
That should have been 7 items total so far for Troupster.
Yes, that is correct. Torch is 7.
Well, 8's a big 20. Patty finished up his fight. 9's a small key, so we found quite a few of those already. We'll not have any issues with that. 10 here after these hearts is yet another, and about 11 here. Just a bunch of blueberries.
Unfortunately, my choice is only explosive. It wasn't useful.
Certainly an exciting, though. A whole bunch of things in that chest.
Okay, Patty is done. Getting 7th crystal is going to be dashing his little cactus sprite legs over and is going to be heading in. And let's see if he decides to go right and then full left, or if decides to go. Oh, Troop having a little bit of problems with these strats. Almost bonks himself back across again.
Yeah, some minor flubs here when it comes to execution, and these are all things that put Patty potentially back into the mix. Now, if Patty goes right then left, or even just full left, he'll have the keys he needs to progress, and he would be catching up quite a bit of time on him here. That was 12 being a heart, or 13 being a heart piece.
13. Yeah, so we got Random Room, which is going to be 14 through 17 right here, and Moment of Truth for Patty. Will he gain any time possibly off of this?
And he goes back
he's going full left. Oh, baby.
And it's 4. Is that 14?
That is 14.
Oh, man. I was kind of right.
And then you took it back.
Well,
I
that's
can't second guess your gut, man.
Yeah, you really gotta commit to your gambles.
All right, well, that's a big deal. That's going to save about a minute for Patty right there. So we're going to have, it's going to come down to a decent amount of execution right here. I don't know about you, Udai, but like, I am super hyped for the end of this right here. I couldn't have asked for more, like only a couple, about 5 or 6 rooms away from each other right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure, both these runners got to be feeling incredibly tense. An hour and 44 minutes almost into this seed. Neither have seen the dot done. They got to be thinking, in Ganon's tower, my opponent is on my heels. Or if not, this is either, you either got to think it's a blowout or your opponent's about to dot done.
Yeah, I mean, and what neither of them realizes is that, depending on, which route they decide to take, they both got burned by one thing. So it kind of ended up being pretty even on that, and you could kind of see that from where they each are.
Well, some of these minor mishaps here in the gauntlet potentially slowing Troupster down a bit. He has really great equipment, but using silver arrows, he's got lag frames, a couple missed pots. He gets double 8 bomb stacks, by the way, which is crazy, with his maxed out bombs now at 50.
Jeez, man. That's so many bombs. Nice job right there with the silver arrow strat. Then having a little bit of trouble with the butter sword slashes. Let's see. Okay, is going to opt to save his red pot. Is going to powder the fairy. So that's going to throw off the patterns of the land mollusk in this room.
Slight miss there. Should be an early second cycle for that finish on the land mollusk fight here. Ooh, and another miss.
All right, that's just more time for Patty to possibly catch up. And Patty, nicely using those sword beams right there, is going to go the top route.
I mean, Moldorm falls and Ganon falls, both things that could actually mess with these runners, but this Ganon fight's going to be pretty straightforward, so I don't think we should bank on seeing that from our side.
Yeah, one would hope not, at least. So Patty actually doing a very interesting strat there, kind of doing it casually, in a way. Just opting to run towards the 2 red mimics. Oh, just barely missing that BMO shot right there.
Got some relatively sick dodges here. We have half magic, so Troupster's going to use his fire rod for all of these, getting 1.0'd actually as he took damage after falling. Oh, and he's got to wait for that torch to go out.
Oh my god. All right, well, that's just another about 30 seconds of burn time right there for Troop.
Yep, Patty has no real problems by stutter stepping his way through Ganon Ball Z. He's on to the next episode.
Tune in next time to figure out if they actually finish powering up and complete their mission.
Yeah, we're definitely charging up the tower right now. Troupster using very little magic left available to him, but using his last couple fire rod shots to finish that off. He has the key he needs to get through the next door, so he's just going to bomb through this, not checking either of those chests, having no need to.
Yeah, he did a nice bonk strat too in the 4 lantern room. That was that's a cool strat.
Well, we're going to see some simultaneous boss refights here. Moldorm 2 on the left and Land Mollusk 2 on the right in just a moment. With Gold Sword, you don't have to do spins. It's going to do the same amount of damage as doing a slash, but Troupster probably doing it just to be kind of safe. And he's even kind of trolling us a bit with some fake hovering setup.
Oh, he still got it. Very nice job from Patty. Does still get the 1 cycle.
And of course, Troupster's not going to stop today for that vanilla Big 20 chest. He does get a nice reflection shot off the bumper, though, using the hook shot to knock a mini Helmasaur to his death.
All right, and we've got Agate 2 coming up right here. And let's see how they do in geometry class today.
Well, it's a pretty good recovery for that double there.
This is a good lineup for... Oh, but there's a blue ball, but still gets a double. So can he get the triple double? Oh! Just a bit outside.
These are extremely favorable patterns, though, so when Patty comes through, he's going to have pretty much the same fight to work with. If he can pull off a 3 cycle, that's a little bit of time he gets back. Interestingly enough, though, Patty's been using Lamp for this room, so that's actually going to slow him down a bit. Oh,
Patty's not going to make it. He had the same thing happen. No, there you go. Yeah. He unfortunately fell once and then bonked another time, and that's not going to work. So they both had a flub right there.
Yeah, proving to be what looks to be a fatal mistake. However, Ganon falls are still a thing. This is not over until we see that dot done.
Yep, exactly.
Here comes Ganon fight, though. Normally we need 12 slashes with tempered, but this is just 6 for each of these first 2 phases. So he's already passed phase 1. He's going to finish up with some dashes here. Very nice tech. And phase 2 is already done.
Yeah, again, with Butter Sword, it's gonna be. He's taking some fire bat hits though. He's got to be a little bit careful. He's got red mail, so it doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah, and hopefully he would remember if he got into that position that he has a red potion, but I don't think he's picked up any other potions besides 1 green.
Yeah, just the one that he threw in. Patty is just finishing up Moldworm right now with that second slash. Very nice job.
Well, that's the last of phase 3, so now we just need 4 silver arrows, and this is done for.
Oh, gets a nice double right there at the start. I think it's worth it to not get that torch glitch. Is going to hit him. Is he going to get it? Oh, it's a good setup for another double. Is he going to do it? And that is bacon for Troop.
And as long as he doesn't accidentally dash off the ledge here, he will be good to finish this up and be our victor today. And what a close race, though. Patty in his Geometry Wizard fight already.
Yeah, again, not that much difference between these 2 runners, only by a few minutes. And that is going to be a done for Troupster. GG to him with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 43 seconds.
Well, I'm hoping we can get him in here for an interview. That was extremely exciting for me to watch. I'm sure all of you feel the same way. Patty probably not feeling too great. He's looking at the screen, likely seeing the done at the same time. Some bonks possibly reflecting that. But he's put on an excellent show for us as well.
All right, and Patty's going to be going down to make some bacon himself.
Yeah, we're getting the Ganon message. We were a little hyped there to miss it. But he's pretty upset that we didn't bring food. Looks like we have Troupster in the setup room, so I'm going to pull him in here just one moment. And we are joined by our victors today, Troop. Congratulations and GG.
I made it.
You did indeed. Yeah, you finished with that 5-2 record, man, and make it to the bracket stage. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, man, pretty good. I thought it started to feel like a Plando at the end there with the ice rod.
Yeah, so that ice rod being in Green Pendant Swamp, after you had already dipped into Turtle Rock, did you at all feel like you still had a decent chance after that full dip? Because maybe like you thought, oh God, Patty actually taking a Ganon hug right there. How did you feel after that when you had to leave Turtle Rock?
I felt like I had a lead. I think I executed really well this game. I mean, there's a few hiccups, but most of my play was really good and on point. I feel like Patty couldn't out-execute me, so I was like, okay, let's go to Turtle Rock. If it's not there, we have a few minutes to try and find it.
You know, it ended up being closer than you might have thought.
Yeah.
Actually went up and did Turtle Rock the same way you did, and had he gone to Swamp Palace, he'd be done already.
Hello.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Hey,
done. Patty showing us some swag on his screen, doing a moonwalk into into the Triforce room, and he's already actually with us in chat.
Hello.
Congratulations on finishing this race.
Yeah, thanks. Good GG, Troupster.
GG, man. What a seed.
It was fine until Ice Rod.
Yeah. I thought about Aga as soon as we got Hookshot and Master Sword. I was like, okay, it's an Aga seed.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and then we got
exactly what I
gloves
said.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it's not an Aga seed. And then you did the thing where you check every little last location before Aga.
I actually went to Aghanim early. I decided I didn't want to check the single item places. I was actually doing really well, and then I went up to Death Mountain to get the Book of Medora and did Hookshot Cave and left before getting the Book of Medora and left Death Mountain. And then had to go back up Death Mountain to get the Book of Medora, which took, like 5 minutes.
I actually ended up sequence breaking the book, which was confusing for me because I was in desert with the mirror and the flute, and then I found the flippers, which locked the flute. So I realized that book was the sequence, and I broke it.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, we like flippered really early. After we went to Ice Rod Cave, just did the hobo check, and that's where he ended up getting it.
How long did you take to look in pod?
Quite a while. Quite a while.
I was
nearly
stupid.
last item for hammer.
Oh wow. I was stupid, and after agging him, I thought, oh, I can't go across the river. I don't have flippers, so I went into pod. So I immediately got the hammer.
I mean, to be fair, you did have lantern and bow, so you could check everything except for Helma. And yeah, it wasn't that bad of a play to go in there. Now, maybe without lantern and having already so much progression, that would have maybe been a different story. But yeah, and then getting that French vanilla hammer, that was actually the difference. So, you know, Troop had the flute sequence broken, you had the hammer early, and that's kind of made your guys' routing diverge a little bit. You kind of reconverged in the Village of Outcasts. I wanted to get your thoughts, actually, Troop. You dipping Thieves Town pendant for the first 4 chests, was that because you didn't have the hammer, or is that a normal thing you do when it's a pendant?
I have this theory, obviously not true, that anytime you get to Dark World and you don't have hammer, the hammer's in Hype Cave. So I'm like, I gotta get to Hype Cave. I gotta get there. Just stop distracting me, Thieves Town. I'm out of here. I don't want to be here. Yeah, that was my thought.
We did get to see some really nice tech from both of you guys. I gotta say, I mean, I know we mentioned just briefly when you first got in here, Patty, but that was an awesome moonwalk at the very end there. I like that a lot.
You gotta do his item dash with the fire rod, and it glitches him out because he has to hold up his sword, so it switches something. I don't know. It's just a mess.
Somebody wise once told me the game's weird, man.
I tried the Mire
weird.
tech.
Sucks.
I missed the anti-fairy on the Mire tech on that glitch.
Yeah, you actually did the older setup, and by that we mean 3 days older than the new setup.
Right.
Where you do an item dash.
Yeah, you'd have to set it up with the flute, right? And I just was running around desert and all sorts of weird stuff, so I had no idea what axis it would be on or anything.
Yeah, and of course, trying to reset it up with that bird altitude would have taken longer than just diving in anyways, if you weren't confident in being able to do, you know, that particular setup. So, I mean, you're only saving maybe 10 seconds doing the glitch. At least you defaulted back to one of your 50 bombs to open up that wall.
Yes, plenty of bombs.
All right, well, Swiss stages were fun. That was a fun last seed. I'm hoping that no one drops out of brackets so that I don't have to do some tiebreaker baloney. But this was fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I did want to ask. I did have a question for you, Patty. Do you have any other questions? Because I'll have to think about it. It's going away from my mind right now.
Well, I definitely want to just kind of establish. I mean, I think both of you guys are definitely planning on continuing playing Randomizer after this tournament, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I kind of figured. You know, it's one thing that's amazing about this whole broader community is Link to the Past does seem to bind quite a lot of people together from all over the world, and this has been a fun international tournament to be involved in. So, folks, you know, while we're waiting on Trojan Dude to remember what he was trying to ask.
I did remember my question. Why? So I was wondering, were you actually deciding to just put off Ice Rod Cave until you had flippers? Essentially, I think you were. I can't remember if you had it like right around, but you waited for Ice Rod Cave way late. Was that fat?
Because we had so much stuff at the beginning, I didn't want to do Ice Rod Cave and had it be nothing, and then I just didn't get around to it until later. And I'm going to be honest, I was scatterbrained this whole seed, and I forgot the Dark World Death Mountain was a thing, so I was like, well, I guess I'll check Ice Rod Cave now since I have nothing else to do. And then while I was running over to Ice Rod Cave, I was like, wait a minute, I have a lot.
Okay,
So,
that makes a lot more sense then.
yeah, because Dark World Death Mountain was like really the only play at the time, but I didn't think of it until I was checking little single item places, and I'm really glad that it skipped my mind. But in the end, it didn't matter because I lost.
Well, definitely not by a lot. It was really exciting to watch this race.
And I lost because I forgot to pick up the book. That sucks. But hey, good stuff, Troop. It was still really good.
Yeah, it was a good race. I don't know if I want to do any more of these late Aga seeds. I think half of my tournament seeds have been that way.
Dude, all my tournament seeds have been goofy as heck.
it's leading to people doing Aghanim early, even if they don't have to necessarily, or even before they've made all their checks. We saw that from Patty today, with the Aeginas Cave still being out there, which would end up being nothing anyway. So, I mean, it was a good decision. And that was actually something that had you in the Dark World sooner. We were pretty stoked about finding out, after you had already made the commitment to that, Patty, that Troupster verified for you that was a good decision. Fun stuff about being on this side of the mic.
Yeah.
But
I
folks,
think I would have made the same play had I not got the flute. So, yeah, GG, dude. Good play.
yeah, that water walk really paid off for you there.
That was good.
But folks, if you want to catch the rest of this tournament, and of course everything that you're going to see Troupster obviously make his tournament, run, and then potentially, based on tie breaks, I don't think necessarily Patty your tie breaks work out for it, but if they do, possibly even Patty in the brackets as well. We're going to have, I believe, a couple of days before we start the actual brackets, as this is a gigantic undertaking that, and shout outs to the administrators for pulling this off so far. But when we do get started with that, you're going to find all of these races on Speed Gaming 2 through 5, as well as ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 4. And of course, definitely follow both of our runners today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Follow Patty and Troupster. They put on a really great race. And talking about other matches right now, we actually, on ALTTP Randomizer, we have Fuzzy Games versus Mire-chan. And on Speed Gaming 5, we've got DK's 89 against Ben Teasy. So, yeah, it's a couple of good matches going on right now that just started at 6 p.m. Eastern.
And of course, we definitely want to just shout out everybody in the back end that makes this possible. I know we're restreamed on Speed Gaming this time around, and we have a tracker as well that I honestly haven't even checked to see who that was.
It's Oddwalls.
Thank you, Oddwalls, for tracking for us today. We greatly appreciate it. With the divergences we had, definitely a lot of buttons for you to click today.
Yeah, thank you, Yodamonistic, for doing commentary with me. It was a lot of fun, man.
Certainly sentiment shared there. Well, folks, that pretty much ties a bow in this race. I want to just really quickly give both of our runners an opportunity to possibly say anything to their fans. I'll start with you, Troupster.
Yeah, just thanks everybody for watching. People that don't even know me or whatever. But I want to thank all you guys for doing the restream, the tracking, and the commentary, as well as the tournament setup. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, especially working with a certain site that may not always function when it needs to. But thanks to everybody involved. It's nobody's getting paid for this. It's great. It's a great opportunity and a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All of what he said. Same goes for me, though.
Well, folks, I think it's been a wild ride, this race, absolutely. And of course, the tournament is just heating up. We are finally about to approach our elimination bracket 8 weeks into the tournament going through. I have been Eudaimonistic. Today I've been joined by
Trojan Dude.
And with that, I think we'll close it out. So, folks, we'll see you next mission.
See you guys later.
See ya.